Executive Director of the Global Justice Institute, a partner ministry of Metropolitan Community Churches, and the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, focusing on the human rights of LGBTI people around the world. We are here today marking the 40th anniversary of the Upstairs Lounge fire, the deadliest attack on LGBTI people in United States history. On Pride Weekend 1973, in a gay bar on the second floor of a building in the French Quarter of New Orleans, an arsonist claimed the lives of 32 people. No one was ever prosecuted for the case, and local media made light of the event. While we have made great strides in the battle for LGBT rights as human rights, and our headlines in the United States at least are filled with recent Supreme Court victories, for many here and abroad, violence and hatred inspired by misdirected and misfounded religious conviction is the daily reality. You see behind us this afternoon the 32 names of the victims of the New Orleans fire. They are merely representative of the lives of LGBTI people from Uganda to Jamaica to Eastern Europe and Russia, Latin America and the Middle East, Asia and the United States, where most recently in New York City, a young man named Mark Carson was shot and killed in the West Village while his attacker shouted homophobic slurs. Only a few faith leaders in the world have been synonymous with the fight against bigotry and hatred and for the right to life and full equality as children of God for all people, including LGBTI people. Some of them are with us today. I want to just mention that the Reverend Troy Perry, founder of Metropolitan Community Churches, the largest faith organization devoted to the pastoral care of queer people and the work of global justice, could not be with us. But the Reverend Elder Nancy Wilson, moderator of our denomination, is here today, along with the Reverend Brent Hawks, who is pastor of MCC in Toronto, the Reverend Boon Lin, who works with the Global Justice Institute, the Reverend Elder Hector Gutierrez, who works in Latin America, and Bishop Christopher of Kampala, Uganda, founder of St. Paul's Reconciliation and Equality Center, and a global champion for the decriminalization of LGBTI people and our lives. They will each speak now, then we will hear from several individuals about recent incidents of violence in their context and their hopes for the future, and then we will take questions for a few moments.
I'm Reverend Nancy Wilson, the moderator of Metropolitan Community Churches, and I was 22 years old when I got the phone call about the New Orleans fire. I remember that moment. It is seared into my own memory. And one of the things I remember about it is that we didn't know the term hate crime in those days. That term wasn't even used. And we knew that there were many people who would either not care that these people died or who would make light of it or rejoice. We still live in a world where that reality is true in many, many places in the world. I'm proud to be part and leader of Metropolitan Community Churches. We are a place where we deal with faith and religion. You know, faith can be the most destructive force on earth, and it can tear people apart. It can be a force for intolerance, or it can be a voice for justice and love and hope. And we want to be that faith voice of justice and love and hope in our world. Yes. We are a community that is growing more global every single day. We have churches or ministries in over 40 countries, but in many, many more, dozens of countries where we are aligned with and in solidarity with activists who are seeking to be in connection with people of faith and people of justice who will help make their situations visible in a world. It is visibility. Invisibility is the enemy of justice. When we cannot see things, hear them, or know about them, that is when there is the most danger. It is when we make things visible and when we are willing to risk to be there for one another in the world that we believe that things can change. I'm proud to be with people up here who are incredible leaders and make change in our world and are affiliated or connected in some way to Metropolitan Community Churches. And I believe that The work we've done has only begun, and I believe it is really time to make our voices heard around the world. I'm so proud that MCC is the founder, along with the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, of the Global Justice Institute, which is able to do things around the world that are making a difference. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Hector Gutierrez. My main focus is Iberoamerica. And even when the world is changing, the homophobia is still be present in our countries. In Latin America, the big problem is that the governments sometimes try to keep secret all the hate against people from the community LGBT, and they want to present that we're part of the accidents or even part of the political issues that we are dealing, like in Mexico City with all these problems with the drug dealers. Many people from the LGBT community is hurt for this situation, and they present in the mass media maybe it's love issue, it's a problem between couples, but the homophobia is still present in Brazil. And I think we need to be sure to be the voice for the people that can't explain what is behind all these crimes against the LGBT community.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Reverend Boon. I'm the director of Asia Desk for Global Justice Institute. I'm working on Chinese-speaking community in Asia, in countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China. Last month, June, obviously was a very good month for LGBTQI people. We have gay marriage law passed in this, recognized in this country, and also Exodus closed down in June. We are so glad that finally they can think straight, right? But violence against gay people, LGBTIQ people, is far away from over. Even though Exodus is closed down in the United States, but they are moving to Asia, and they're thriving in Asia. They work together with government in Asia, and I think this is a serious issue that we have to look into, and we need to be more aggressive in dismantling this kind of heterosexism and homophobia in Asia. A couple of years ago, there was a teenager in Taiwan. He was like just so many gay people in this country in the past was told that gay people can change, and so the church urged him to change, and he was very submissive. He wanted to change, but he couldn't change. And then the church said to him, the only reason you can't change is because you are not willing to change. So in order to prove that he is so willing to change, he went to the church and then he poured gasoline on his body and burned himself to death, to show his dedication and determination to change. And this kind of tragedy is unnecessary. And then I think we need to be more articulate and in preaching the liberating gospel of Jesus the Christ in Asia. And in many countries in Asia, like China and Malaysia, MCC is the only voice to say that gay is okay and being gay and Christian is absolutely okay. So I think we need that. A lot of work needs to be done.
Amen.
I'm Reverend Brent Hawks, pastor of MCC Toronto. At our home in Toronto, in the upstairs storage area, I have a closet. And in that closet, there's a very extra large clergy shirt. And it's not just because at one point I carried 40 more pounds on my body than I do now that I have that shirt there. It's an extra large clergy shirt so that it's large enough to put over the bulletproof vest that I've had to wear in the past. And I've had those moments of terror when I've had to wear a bulletproof vest just to marry somebody or just have a church service. And as scary as those moments of terror are, they are nothing compared to living a life of terror. Absolutely nothing. And so at our church in Toronto, we have a refugee program, and we have over 100 refugees every month, 500 refugees in total who are connected to that program. And all you have to do is spend 5 minutes, just close your eyes and pick any one of them, and listen to their story, and you will hear about lives of terror. And I just hope that those of us who are able to live in Canada, the U.S., don't forget what's going on. the rest of the world. We have a job to do, to build our churches locally and to build the capacity of our denomination internationally to be able to address this. And the major cause of the terror is homophobic religion.
Yes.
And it has been said that the only way to counteract bad religion is with good religion. And so we have got to build and provide the alternative, along with our partners, the bishop and others around the world, to end that terror. So when you sit across the table from your honey or your families and you have Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, when you walk out on the streets on Pride Day and you're able to hold their heads, when you go out to a bar or wherever you go to play, just remember that there are millions of people who would give anything to be in your position, give anything to sit where you sit today, give anything to go to church where you go. And to whom much is given, much shall be required.
Amen.
Indeed, I am really excited to be here in Chicago and to meet you and share with you what is happening. In Uganda, we are having many challenges as far as the marginalized people are concerned. And in order to do our work, we try to work with other people who are marginalized, such as women. So we have in our program something to do with the women who suffer from violence, children. But of course, our major concern is for the LGBTQ people, who usually don't have access to treatment when they live with HIV/AIDS. So we are trying to have a program where we help have tests and where necessary treatment, counseling of such people. And it has been helping us to give service to the people. And we had the what we call Elton John in London, who helped us to get some funding for 2 years. But this is now, the program is over. We need more, of course, funding and all that. And as I said, if you looked at our website, you'll see the programs we are trying to have and which we are having. Already we have people like Joseph Tolton over there.
Yes.
I call him my son. He is actually an adopted son. And we are really working with these people to see what we can do, even in the area of economic empowerment.
Yes.
Many of our people are very poor and they need some to support themselves. And you find somebody may need to buy an aspirin for headache, and there's no money for that. Or an egg to eat. He's under treatment, he needs to eat something, but has no money even to buy an egg. So some of these people have got in them a desire to work, so they need some kind of encouragement, which we call economic empowerment. Some of these people have started to do this. As I said, the people, the elite need education. Many of our people, I think a lot of suffering of LGBT people and the discrimination, a lot of it is because of ignorance.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of real ignorance about human sexuality, and then people start blaming maybe the West importing this, and some people listen to them because they are ignorant. But if you know what human sexuality is, you can't really believe such accusations. So we need education. And we are trying at also our center to have what we call advocacy, where we are trying to have dialogue with, or even our church leaders, some people in power, to understand. For me, I've been trying to reach some of these leaders We have some support for at least a year from what we call OSI, Open Society, or whatever institute. So we are trying to get all possible means to see that we can really go on and working with the gay people as well as the so-called straight people.